بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والعاديات ضبحا فالموريات قدحا فالمغيرات صبحا فأثرن به نقعا فوسطن به جمعا إن الإنسان لربه لكنود وإنه على ذلك لشهيد وإنه لحب الخير لشديد أفلا يعلم إذا بعثر ما في القبور وحصل ما في الصدور إن ربهم بهم يومئذ لخبير.
Yo, what's up, everybody? First order of business, man. Let me know if I can get a mic check. Let me know if y'all can hear me. Salute to everybody, man, who was in here early, man. I seen peace to you. Ike Sessions, what's happening? What's going on? I know a few of y'all chimed in early. Happy holy day. Shalom, Shabbat, Juma Mubarak. Happy Sabbath. Black Power. Happy Friday. Go get your hair done, your nails did, all that good stuff. And full moon weekend tomorrow, full moon in Aquarius. Sun and Leo, moon in Aquarius. That's the full moon that announces the arrival of Sirius coming. Very interesting. The water bear pouring water out on the earth, so they say. But you have the Nile River in Egypt is about to begin its annual flooding, which is about to mark the beginning of the Kemetic Syrian year, the Egyptian New Year on Sirius. As far as festivals go, Askia Bay, Islam, what's up? You know what I mean? Everybody click that like button. Michael Bernay the Great. Everybody click the like button for me. How is my layout back here today? Can I do this one here? We can get into that later. There we go. Let me play with this layout. Is that a little bigger for that? All right. So y'all ready? They say Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillah. Rabbil Alameen. First, I meant to show last Friday, last week, going in on the fingerprint of God. I had to go through that Islamic history in part 1. I forgot to actually show y'all how after Ali had passed, the next person who would come into power was the founder of the Umayyad dynasty named Muawiyah, which we got into Muawiyah. Muawiyah made it a point to establish on every Friday the public cursing of Ali. They would get in their khutbahs on Friday lectures, do they lecture and would curse Ali. And this practice went on for 70 plus years. So he would die, and this one would come into power, and they would curse Ali. And then one of them came in and then kind of banned it and stopped it, and then it tried to come back. And that's crazy. That's crazy. If you really knew who Ali was, and maybe I'll do a presentation on that. If you really knew who he was, the importance in the likeness of the Prophet, peace be upon him, it's crazy. But I say that to say, I make it a point every day, really, honestly, no lie, in my zikr, but definitely on Fridays, to reverse that spell. Because see, anytime somebody is doing something on a specific day over and over and over again, you working with programming outer space is what you're doing. You're programming space. You know what I'm saying? So we got to undo that knot on Fridays is by for those that's into more of the esoteric aspect of Islam. And you really understand that the mystics of Islam's, the Sufis, all of them trace their lineage back to Ali. I showed a hadith where the prophet said, just like I had to fight for the revelation of the Quran, there will be one amongst you who will have to fight for its interpretation. And then they said Umar and Abu Bakr looked and was like, who else? And he said, no, the one over there that's tying the shoes on the sandals. And he pointed to Ali. And that's very deep, because that means that the Quran isn't, what could I say? Its interpretation is still to be built upon. It wasn't just flat literal in its revelation for the prophet, peace be upon him, to make that statement. Somebody's going to have to, he's going to have to fight for the interpretation of it, right? That's heavy, man. That's heavy. All right. So let's get into the conversation at hand, the four winds, the cosmic origins of spirit. The backdrop and how this conversation came about was spending some time in prayer, meditation, if you want to call it that. And one of this, it's the same thing. I've done this before. It comes back to me dealing with the origin of the spirit inside of the body, its origin point. From whence does it come? From whence thou came, as they say. Where it come from? Where does it come from? Now, what I'm gonna share with you is, I'm just calling it science theory. Hasn't been proven, but we know that we live in a world where science is only validating what the mystics been seen, perceived, and experienced from higher realms, whether it be vision, whether it be dreams, right? Science comes and confirms later what the mystics been talked about. Okay. So what I'm going to share with you has not yet, to my knowledge, has not yet been verified by Newtonian classical physics. Okay. So the spirit, we say, well, it comes from the universe, somewhere in the universe, because the universe is the home of infinity, which means the universe really is the scientific name for God. Inherently, we know this, and this is why you would hear people who would say, man, I just gave it to the universe, man. You know, man, the universe alone. Instead of saying God, they say universe, but they're really synonymous, because uni means one. So it's synonymous, okay? So, but where in the universe do it come from? Is it one primal location? The spirit, I'm going to say, comes from the four corners of the universe. I'll say that again. The spirit, I am going to say, comes from the four corners of the universe. It's only one universe anyway, but within the one, we're going to divide that up into four sectors. In each sector has its own energetic fingerprint, sort of like the four seasons, which is just a miniature replica of something that's much more grand. Stay with me. This is going to be a good conversation. We got like 70 something slides to get through. Okay. So I'm going to say it comes from the four corners. Then I said, well, wait a minute. The Bible says something about the four corners. So then, on the four winds. So then I said, okay, you're going to have to go to that good old Bible. Okay. Uh-oh. Is this the first one? Here it is right here. All right. Let me blow this up for me. All right. So Daniel declared In my vision in the night, I looked, and suddenly the four winds of the heaven were churning up the sea. Okay. Now, where do we see winds? We see winds at the very end on the left hand side, number 7308. That word there in Hebrew is ruach, which is the first three letters is the root, which is ruach. Here is 7308, ruach. Wind means spirit. Winds means spirit. Okay. So if we go back and he says, in my vision in the night, I looked, and suddenly the four spirits of the heaven were churning up the great sea. Because wind and spirit are the same thing. Okay. Now, move to another one. Thus the goat became very great, but at the height of his power, his large horn was broken off, and four prominent horns came up in its place, pointing towards the four winds of the heaven, or four spirits of the heaven. Okay, let's go to Zechariah. Get up, flee from the land of the north, declares the Lord, for I have scattered you like the four winds of heaven. Okay, declares the Lord. Now, this right here is my favorite one. This kind of ends the webinar almost. Then he said to me, prophecy to the breath. Prophesy, son of man, and tell the breath that this is what the Lord God says. Come from the four spirits, because wind's a spirit. Come from the four spirits, O breath, and breathe into these slain so that they may live. Now, hold on. This is obvious. Winds is being blown. Four winds is being breathed into the slain so they may live. Four winds. I said, well, shit, man, this ends my theory. It's right here, right? All right. So now let's look at breath in winds. Yes. 7307. We saw 7308, but breath and wind is entry 7307, and it's the same first three letters in Hebrew we read from right to left. Okay. Now, where it says breath, it says ha ruah. The ha means the. The letter H in front of that means the. Okay. So that's not part of the actual root. Okay. So let's go look at 7307. 7307 says what? Spirit, wind, breath, winds, side, mind. On the left-hand side, when we look at NASB, on the left-hand side, spirit, wind, breath, winds. Okay. So all this breath, all this wind, spirit, all connected. Okay. All right. Now, I remember in math, we used to have this grid, right? The XY axis. Now, I know some of you don't like math, but don't get discouraged. Don't let your brain cut off right now. Bear with me, okay? All this math was teaching us was the universe has four quadrants. That's all it was teaching us. And it got very interesting, though, because if you went on the x-axis to the right and then you went up, quadrant one, up is positive and right is positive. That was plus plus. Sort of like the summer in a sense, if we want to give that plus plus. Okay. It's a hot season, fiery element type of vibe. You know what I mean? And then quadrant 2, they say, well, you went to the left, so that's negative, but you went up and that's positive, so that's minus positive. Okay. So I guess you can call that the fall. Okay. And so forth and so forth. Quadrant 3, double negative because you went left and then you went down. That's the winter. Less light that you have, right? The coldest is nature's at its total regression. So that's the winter. Quadrant 3 is opposite quadrant 1. Okay. Summer, winter. Okay. And then the spring plus minus, right, in quadrant 4. So anyway, these are really the 4 seasons that they was giving us in, I don't know if this was geometry or algebra class. I forget when the graphs was introduced, right? I'm a high school dropout. I don't know. I don't remember, but I always kind of remember this part. It's kind of fun. Okay. So this is really the universe. Okay. Now, I want you to see it this way. A shooting star, a comet, that is us coming into incarnation. That is no different on the micro scale than your daddy's sperm about to impregnate your mama's egg. So all a comet is a galactic sperm. That's all it is. Okay? But we come from 4 regions, though. That's the key that I want to convey. So again, in this universe, now we're going to superimpose the graph, because in our reality, we live here in what's called a solar system. But we still got 4 directions of space in the solar system. Okay? It's very important. So now you can see this graph in the solar system / universe imposed on with one another. Okay? And I'll tell you this. When, let me go back one. When this, let's just call it the shooting star of spirit, travels within the orbital path of the planets, you with me? Those orbital rings of the planets, those planets are exerting gravity onto us, because gravity bends light, and you got a heartbeat in the brainwave, so you're light. And every single planet exerts a gravitational pull on the planet Earth, the biggest being the sun and moon. Okay? Every single planet exerts this. So as we traveled from here on a light beam from the 4 corners, traveling to the Earth, we get, for lack of a better word, magnetized by the orbital tracks of these planets, and it's in the Qur'an. I'm going to show you. Now, let's look at the diameter of the universe, the observable universe, 93 million light years away. Yes? That's what they say. Well, the observable universe diameter is 93 million light years. Okay. Okay. So I'm gonna back up some, because this is going to take us to something called I'm gonna call it universal area pi. When you put 93 in the circumference, 93 million, you're gonna get 2.16225 E plus 21 more numbers that comes after that. That has to be times by pi in order to get that 6.79. I hope you guys are with me. Okay, let me do this. All right. Okay. I want y'all to understand that. I'm just going to show you again some of this fractal universal energy on how the creator is moving. Okay. So our observable universe diameter is 93 million miles. You put that in the circle calculator, the number that pops up, that 216, has to be times by pi in order to get the 6.79 so let's just call this a universal area pi. It's a constant that pi is dependent upon to times to get to this number. Okay. So we're going to call it universal area pi. Okay. Now, remember, each age is 2,160 years. And not only is each age 2,160 years, the diameter of the moon is also 2,160 miles across. Now remember, the universe, the whole entire universe, when we back up some slides, this right here, the observable universe, this makes the area 2.16, right? The whole entire inside of the whole area of the observable universe actually comes out to 2.16 that then has to get times by pi. So that's what I'm saying. This 216 is now a universal constant, right? And so now when we get shrunk all the way down on physical Earth, we be like, wait a minute, hold on. We're observing the heavens, and now each sign rules an age for 2,160 years in the planetary body that exerts the biggest gravitational pull far as what we call strongest. It don't more than the sun, but since it's so close to us, it rules the tidal waves. So it appears as if it's the biggest. Okay. So the body that has that's exerting the biggest influence on the planet is the moon, and its diameter matches the age. And again, this match universal area pi. So see, this is why if you're in the West, okay, if you are in the West, I'll say, I got to get these layouts. They got to move this because I don't like that right there. If you are in the West, okay, meaning you're going to be in society, you know what I'm saying? Like people, right? Right? Singling and mingling, dating, whatever you're doing, right? People, right? Then I feel like it is imperative to know this astroscience because you now have to deal with personalities, mindsets of individuals. Now, if you monastery lifestyling and you know what I mean, off grid, and you, all right, you don't need this. Go on about your business, right? Go on about your business. Those are the higher ashram type of people. But if you're gonna be in society, I swear, in my opinion, we absolutely need this science, okay? Because it deals with instant compatibility. Is gonna tell you what's up instantly, okay? All right. So now let's just deal with physicality. Stay with me. When you're dealing with a cube, okay, this Kaaba, this black cube, this cube has 360 degrees on each face. Yes, 90 degree in four corners. 90 times 4 is 360. So the whole face of a cube is 360. But a cube has 6 sides: front, back, top, bottom, left, right. So 360 times 6 is 2,160 total degrees of a cube, which represents physicality, because you have height, you have width, you have length or depth. So you have 3 dimensions. If it's just a square is 2D reality, like a piece of paper. A square is missing a third dimension. It can't stand up. Okay. So 2160 governs physicality. It is the law of physicality in celestial ages, which dictates to physicality. Okay. And the fun thing is, if you take 6, because you got 6 cubed, yes, and you got 3 dimensions, and you say, well, 3 dimensions, 6 times 6 times 6, Oh, gives you 216. Coincidence or mathematics? Coming back to universal area pi. All right. Now, let's go into the Quran and see if we got 4 winds. Because Surah 51, Adh-Dhariyat, the winnowing winds, there's a whole chapter called winds in the Quran. Okay? All right. Let me blow this up on my side. By the winds that scatter broadcast. Whoa, 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 whoa. Yusuf Ali translation came out swinging. What? By the winds that scatter broadcast? Bro, a broadcast is like a radio signal, a TV signal, a satellite communication. Scatter a broadcast? Man, he came out swinging. Number 2 says, and those that lift and bear away heavy weights. Number 3 says, and those that flow with ease and gentleness. Right? Number 4, I'm in the way. Let me get my camera out the way of this thing. Number 4 says, hold on, let me move my cursor because I got a little. And those that distribute and apportion by command. So wait a minute. In the chapter called The Winds, the first 4 ayats, meaning verses, 1, 2, 3, and 4, we got 4 different functions. So the Quran has 4 winds. Let's get into these winds. 1, when Yusuf Ali said a broadcast, the winds distribute the broadcast, I'm the one that had a conversation that said God is a radio. Did I not? Yes, I did. I said God is a radio. Yes? Now, I'm going to tell you, hold on, let me see if I can light this flame. How did that go out so quick? Now, I'm going to tell you that the 4 areas of the universe, what a coincidence when you come back to my whiteboard. Where you want to start at? You want to start at the top? The Andromeda constellation that sits perfectly in alignment with Aries is at the top. At the bottom, opposite that, is Libra, which is Miser 87, which I showed you is the largest galaxy in our Virgo supercluster. Yes, I showed you this. Hold on, I got fire. All right, right? I showed you this, right? Then to the right, we actually got 2 galaxies, the Sagittarius Sporoidal galaxy, which sits in Capricorn, and our Milky Way galaxy sits at 26 degrees Sag, which is late Sagittarius. And then where I got the chair in Cancer is the throne. So the 4 signs that are in a red square, Cancer where the throne is, far left, bottom, Libra, Miser 87, far right, the Sporoidal galaxy, and really the Milky Way galaxy kind of close, Capricorn, and then at the top, Andromeda. These are your north, south, east, west, 4 cardinal directions on the earth plane, celestial sphere-wise as well, which are the galaxies in which we are a part of. These 4 winds are the 4 galaxies that make up the one spirit. I'll prove it. So let's look at the first wind. In those carrying. Those carrying. The word carrying, Hamel, H-M-L, Hamel, yes, you see it, Hamel, actually occurs 64 times. Carrying also means pregnancy. And it's very interesting that we got 64 codons of DNA, but I'm not going to even get into that. Let's go look and see what Hamel means. Hamel means what? Transport, transportation, carrying charges, the fetus, pregnancy. Look at the very bottom. Look at the very bottom. What do it say? What is that? Aries. What? Aries? Wait a minute. Wait a doggone minute. Wait a doggone minute. I said right here at the top where Andromeda is, which, listen, man, what I've been doing in these last couple weeks and months is real time revelation in a sense, right? 2 days ago, I didn't have the conversation of what I was talking about. I didn't, nor did I know where to go look at in a sense. I don't have to lie. I'm telling you this, okay? So anyway, it's been documented that I got the whiteboard representation out of what the cosmos is and the timing is. Yes, I've been showed you in another presentation how specifically that when the Quran says Safa and Mara, these two rocks are symbols, but symbols mean serious. And we find out that Mara actually means Andromeda. Andromeda sits in Aries. Yes. Now, when we get into the science of the wind, the first wind is literally same root word, Hamel, HML at the bottom, means Aries, realm, astronomy. Talking about, the astronomical constellation. Why is Andromeda important? Because the Milky Way galaxy is going to merge with Andromeda. Science knows this already. It's the next biggest merger. They call it what? The Andromeda Milky Way, I forget, collision, right? Set 4.5 to 5 billion years from now. But what's that in the mind of infinity? Nothing. So you think God don't know? This divine intelligence that's so wise and know how to create everything in fractal patterns and opposite pairs to complement one another. You think it doesn't know that we're going to merge with Andromeda? Shit. So let's move to the second wind. And let's look at this word, alode. Okay? Now, load is waka, or waka, like WQR. Wicker, okay? And it means gravity. The gravity is something, a heavy load, a burden. And that's what gravity does. It applies pressure. Gravity. So this second wind, let me see, right here. Aries, gravity. Yes? We saw that with our own eyes. Again, I am telling you, science says the Milky Way, our Milky Way galaxy, our home, is merging with Andromeda. Merging means there is a gravitational pull towards Aries. Okay? Man, y'all can't quit the Quran, man. Man, I'm telling you, man, this thing is so beautiful. So now let's move to the third wind. In those sailing means to set in motion, to make flow. Okay? To set in motion. Okay. It also means a power line, current, a stream. Dig this. Your respiratory tract. I said, oh, I know what you're getting at. But that's for my Sunday folks. Power line, current. So this is energy. And please bookmark this, because at the end, something else is going to point to this as well. So bookmark this. Okay. So a power line, a current, okay, also means measures, steps, proceedings at law. I said, oh, when you do that, then you mean Libra. In Western astrology, Libra is strongly associated with the concept of justice in the legal system. Yes. Okay. So now when we get into this word, we see in measures and proceedings at law. Yes. Okay. Where's Libra at? Right here, exactly opposite the balance to Andromeda, which is home to Miser 87. Again, the original Ramadan used to take place here. And Rosh Hashanah takes place around this pocket, Virgo to Libra, right in this pocket, every year for Rosh Hashanah. Okay. So now, for those selling, that means set in motion, power, current, measures, Libra, which is the opposite of Aries. Astrologically speaking, do y'all see this shit? Astrologically speaking, Aries and Libra are polar opposites. So how is it that the word at the top means Aries literally, and then the very next conversation to describe the next win, it literally are keywords, the function of Libra, which is the polar freaking opposite of Aries. But let's keep going. And those selling with ease and those distributing. So let's get into distributing. Distributing means lot, destiny, fate, foreordained by God. The word here is Qasim, QSM, right to left. Explore root, Qasim. Okay. So now we're talking about, hold on, some type of distribution, some type of fate, some type of program that's already, as Nas says, it is written. Yes? Okay. So now we're going to say that's fate by God. So now let's get into the commands. Amran, one of my favorites. What is command? Command means government. It means government. But it also could mean soul, mind, spirit, which was the wind. Yes? That we saw in the Bible. Yes? But government, wait a minute. Astrologically speaking, government is Capricorn. Yes? In astrology, Capricorn is considered to rule government, political structures. Yes? Because the word here is Amir, the root word. Amir. You see it, that's why it says A-M-I-R, Amir. The three-letter root where it says explore root, Hamza, sometimes you get that mixed up with an A, almost take like an A sound. M in the middle and R at the end. Amir. Amir is a title of a leader in Islamic countries. The Emir, the Bey, things of that nature. Okay. So you got soul, spirit, and government, but that's Capricorn. But didn't I tell you, do I not have Capricorn in red already? Come on, man. Man, alhamdulillah, man. And y'all paying attention to this. I am telling you, I didn't know today's conversation. I am telling you that I never really know. I don't know the conversation a week ahead of time. I just flow in the spirit of. I just be. Right? So as it's unfolding, and I go and I draw out the map for Hajj months ago, dealing with this, and highlight these 4 signs, and now coming to the revelation of these exact 4 signs just got lit up. You saw 3. You won't see the 4th one because there is no galaxy in the Sirius direction, because Sirius, known as the throne, sits right there. That's why this is the throne. Okay? All of it lines up right here in the Quran. And by the way, notice I got about 8:10 in the middle in red, which is in a couple days, really about the 10th to the 14th in that region. Again, we about to see Sirius rise in the morning. It's gonna be a beautiful thing. All right. So we can say fate by God and Capricorn, the commands. That's what that means. They go to four winds dealing with the three main galaxies. Okay. And I already did Sirius. Now, in this same chapter, chapter 51, this is where it says, by the heaven full of pathways. Now, mind you, didn't I tell you earlier that, hey, hold on, those orbital tracks that has the gravitational pull on us as an incoming comet, yes, the incoming light being from the four corners, we got to pass through the orbital tracks of these planets. Okay? And this is why the planet's position when you was born becomes relative to you. So if you got, something good like Venus in the second house, you're going to get to the money. You should be getting to the money because its position where it was at when you was born dictates that. You see what I'm saying? So now it has a gravitational pull on you because it has a gravitational pull on the earth anyway, scientifically. This is proven. So by the heaven full of pathways. What is pathways? Pathways, look at the very top one. The orbits of celestial bodies. Pattern of wave-like connection, that's energy. Mesh-like connection, fabric, tissue, texture, structure, interwoven, intersecting. Whoa! So are you saying that the orbits of the planets actually create a fabric? The universe is kind of made out of some type of fabric structure, fabric texture, and it interwove with each other. It intersects with each other. Yes. Quantum physics called it string theory. I call it cosmic string theory because you're connected to the cosmos. It's all one system. Anyway. Yes? All one system. So here go the pathways. One of the pathways. It goes beyond orbital tracks. All of the fabric of space in the ether that permeates through it is like a blanket. It's all threaded together. The universe is a cover. Okay? But these pathways right here are the most, it's like a beautiful quilt that got square patterns on it. The planets in the solar system make up the beautiful patterns on the quilt. The most, intense. So this is important to understand. Vitally important to understand. This is also the same chapter. 51 went hard and said, and in the earth are signs for those who are certain and in yourself. I show before in yourself means soul. Because the root word is nafs, which is soul. So you see yourself, their soul, his soul. Okay? So that really should read, and in the earth are signs for those who are certain and in your soul. Okay? Okay. Now, what is this? Okay, that would have been right there. I can't see it. This is also the chapter that has my favorite Quranic verse. And in the heaven is your provision and what you are promised. It's my favorite because it's already in the heaven. Your car, your spouse, your health, your whatever. It's in the heaven already. And in the heaven is your provision. And one translation said, and everything promised to you. And what ye are promised, that's fine. It's in the heaven. Because you know what this means? The heaven is intelligent. And I always say this. Show me in the heaven where your spouse is at. and show me where your, let's just say, your money is at. Still with those two things. Guess what? What if they're not in the same location? Now what? That's just two different locations. So can you show me the two different locations or where they at right now in real time? Because now, to throw a little bit more spice into it, the heavens rotate, sun up, sun down. So if your spouse is by the sun in that region of space, when the sun go down, there's roughly a 12-hour period where you don't see that region of space because it's rotating. But show me where. I don't care if it's in one space or it's in a multitude of different spaces of 360 degrees. Show me your provision. Because based off the Qur'an, this is clear. You need to know astroscience to figure out your provision. This is clear. There's no other way you can interpret this. And I don't know how. I don't even want to know how a regular Muslim, Sunni, whatever, who don't believe in the heavenly sciences, I don't even want to. They say some dumbass shit. Oh, the rain and you get water and the sunlight gives you life. Nigga, it said everything I'm promised. Am I not promised these kids that I already got? Was that not a promise? I got them. How'd they get here? Right? Make it make sense to me. You have to know this astroscience, man. For real. So now let me digress a little bit, just a little bit, but I'm going to tie it all together. In Prophet Muhammad's last speech, don't get mad at me because I made him a black man. You know what? I got to look at you when I say this. And this is the truth. And you cannot deny this truth. You can't deny this truth. Man, Europeans, Romans, Greeks, particularly those, right? Historically speaking, they had a real problem allowing black faces of leadership to exist and did one hell of a job that we call whitewashing history. I call it blackwashing because you washed off the blackness, really. But if you want whitewash, no problem. When I do my thing, I'm blackwashing. It's a known fact that what we consider the Middle East was dark-skinned folks. Okay? And dark-skinned don't mean African either, but they was dark-skinned. So anyway, in the Prophet's farewell sermon, bear with me because this is important. This is really important. What I'm showing you in red in this speech is going to be missing from the next speech. And everything in black is the same in the next speech. So in this speech, because remember, we're talking about your spirit. Let me look at you. Let me look at you for a minute. When it comes to Islam, it has been proven to be a magnificent reformer for those who really submit, especially in the Western Hemisphere. When I say this, black men going to jail usually become Muslim. And if they stay on their deen, they make you can see an improvement of character. Historically speaking, we can say that. Now, it seems like in the origin points of Islam, ain't no scene. Last week, I showed y'all a hadith. What Ali said, they have been conspiring against the Prophet. There is a conspiracy taking place, and this conspiracy ultimately came against Ali, his wife, and killed both his children. This is proven in history. This is what's on the record book in history. It's what history says, right? So now, when I come across some information, I'm like, hold on. This is deep because I'm telling you, the calendar is here, but you go over to this Masjid website and they got the speech. the calendar ain't in his speech. And I'm like, whoa, hold on. What the fuck is going on? Now, the question is, I seen the video from a brother. I wish I had his YouTube name. I want to say Sufi Alchemy. Look like I think he's from like Northern Africa, right? And he raised a question and he said, man, do you think that the white people, first of all, he said it was in the 1800s that the Arabs that we see today was basically created inside of Arabia and all of that, and basically how the powers that be whitewashed Islam. That's what he said. Whitewashed Islam. Okay, the colonizer. This is what they call them, the colonizer. I give them that, right? So is there a plan from the colonizer, because it understands the potency of Islam? You can get a Malcolm X out of this thing. You can get a Muhammad Ali who ain't going to the Vietnam War out of this thing, right? Did the colonizer or someone, period, recognize the power and purposely remove the aspect of the calendar and try to get us off rhythm? It's just a question. I don't necessarily care to prove who or it per se. It's a question that I have, though, okay? Because I already know the importance of the time and what to do and what the correct time is, so I ain't really tripping. So in the black, again, this is going to be the same conversation. Let's go to it. It's right here. So let's go back to the original. The original says, "Oh, people, lend me an attentive ear." Oh, people, lend me an attentive ear on the second one. Go back to the second paragraph on the first one. Oh, people, just as you regard this month. Go to the second lecture. Oh, people, just as you regard this month. Okay, let's go to the third paragraph inside of the inside of the top in the black. Allah has forbidden you to take usury. Therefore, interest obligation has been waived. Okay, Allah has forbidden you to take usury. Interest, therefore, obligation are waived. Okay, after the interest has been waived, over here, the prophet is going to say, hey, every right arising out of the homicide in the pre-Islamic days is henceforth waived. And first such right that I waive is that arising from the murder of Rabia. I ain't gonna mess up the name, which they said I think was a family member. So he said, listen, there was some murder taking place. We gonna waive all that because there's a new day in town. It's a new thing called Islam in town. We about to just wipe the record clean. And then says, oh men, the unbelievers indulge in tampering with the calendar. And then after that, it says, beware of Satan in black. Go over here. No mention of wiping the slate clean. No mention of a calendar. And it just goes straight to beware of Satan. Are you with me? What? You're missing the calendar. It's supposed to be right here. Let me go back. Getting rid of, waiving the right of pre-Islamic murder. Oh men, the unbelievers indulge in tampering with the calendar. The unbelievers. And then immediately after that, you said, beware of Satan for the safety of your religion. Whoa, that's heavy. So somebody took it out. So now, ladies and gentlemen, I keep saying it and I'm going to say it again. This can only mean two things. Two. A third one is not acceptable. Third one means somebody made a mistake and wrote it in as a mistake and somebody left it out as a mistake. Either or, no. So let's deal with two things. The person who said or wrote the calendar in there, if it ain't supposed to be in there, they lying, they put it in there, and they want to get your attention about understanding timekeeping. Somebody love your black ass. Somebody lying. Somebody's going to lie and create a story to get you to understand the heavenly law. They lying on the prophet. He did not say that in his speech. We're going to insert that there. What other agenda could it be if you want us to look at the calendar? So now they're lying and saying, investigate the calendar. There has to be a reason for that. Or the other thing is, it was originally there and somebody is purposely hiding it and taking it out. Satan use a fierce aspect of human consciousness. And I'm going to have to go with the latter. Somebody is hiding it and taking it out. Okay? All right, let's come back. Now, dig this. Let's look at the hadith on the left-hand side. Verily, time has returned to its original state, which it had when Allah created the heavens and the earth. The year is 12 months. I don't even want to get into the naming of the months. Let's just stop right there. I find it funny that it's also in some hadiths, it's 1977, the year I was born, and I'm on this shit. I'm on your ass. It's already been done. Let's go to the far right. There is no hadith in the authentic Sunni collections like Sahih Bukhari, Sahih Muslim, where Prophet Muhammad explicitly mentions or uses the Hijri calendar as we know it today. Because the Hijri calendar was not formalized during the Prophet's lifetime. It was introduced later during Caliph of Umar ibn al-Khattab. Okay? So the Prophet didn't use that calendar because it wasn't in effect. But here's my point. Why is the Prophet saying time has returned to its original state when time did not change then? Are y'all seeing this? Time, the calendar did not change until 639, if that is the correct time, or if this is the prophecy that he's talking about. Because one thing's for certain. Time did not change in the calendar, did not change in the Prophet's lifetime. So now this makes this a prophecy. So the question is, well, is Umar's calendar a prophecy? And I'm going to tell you, it's not. That's not the count. That's not what that is. The disbelievers is tampering with the calendar in his farewell speech. That's what that is. So let's break this down. Let's break this down. Let's go to the very top on the science side, the right-hand side, very top. The moon is thought to have formed relatively short after the Earth, with a giant impact that formed it occurring within the first 100 million years after the solar system began to form. Current estimates suggest the moon formed about 4.51 billion years ago, while the Earth is thought to be a bit older, formed around 4.54 billion years ago. This means the moon formed roughly 60 to 100 million. It's actually 30 million by my calculation. 5.54 minus 5.51 is 3. That's 30 million. So let's just say 30 million years after the Earth. Let's go back. Science is saying what? The moon is not in the original creation of the heavens and earth. Let's go back over to Sahih Muslim. Verily, time has returned to its original state, which it had when Allah created the heavens and earth, not the heavens, earth, and moon. The original state, the moon is not created. In the original state, the moon is not created. Let's go to what I call the verse that removes the lunar calendar for accounting for years. 1712, with a coincidence, is ayat number 12. He mentioned the year's 12 months inside of that hadith. And we have made the night and day two signs, and we erase, some say obliterated, we erased the sign of the night and made the sign of the day visible, that you may seek bounty from your Lord, and may you, so that you may know the number of years in the count of time. So you may know the number of years. So you may know the number of years. So when you make the sign of the day visible, so we can know the number of the years, you just remove the moon as a calculating device for knowing the number of years. So what the prophet is talking about is a prophecy that is yet to happen. Okay. Moving on. And this is why the Quran says, while us ina lisana lafikus, by time indeed mankind is surely in loss. It says it right here in the Quran. By time indeed mankind surely is in loss. Let's go to 936. The number of months in the sight of Allah is 12. So ordained by him the day he created the heavens and earth. Of them four are sacred. This is the straight usage. So wrong not yourself therein. Right? Hold on. This is the upright religion, is what that means. So do not wrong therein with them. And actually, therein, you see that word at the very bottom? Soul. Unless you wrong yourself, you ain't gonna wrong in there your soul. So keeping up with the time keeps you in due bounds, what they call the upright religion, the deen, and deen means law and judgment. Okay? Now, I'm not going to even get in. This is a bonus. This is a bonus. Boy, I'll wait till this class will come. Ooh, in fact, this is so powerful, I'm going to have to get this to select people. Now, y'all heard my brother and Sheikh Sufi last week come on and was sharing the power, the known power of La ilaha illallah. Yes? So dig it. And this is a bonus. I don't even know if I should be showing y'all this, but I'm listen. When you add up the numbers, all of the numbers, it's going to equal 165. Okay? Yes? 66 plus 32 plus 36 plus 31 is 165. Put 165 in the circumference. What is the area? 216 universal area pi. Y'all feel me? Y'all, this is what I'm telling you. I'm telling you, this is something else. Okay? Now watch this. Watch this. Let's focus on these are two letters. And we read Arabic from where? Right to left. So the first letter looks like a backwards L because it is L. Or the English L goes the other way. In Arabic, L is backwards. Okay? That's how my mind sees it. It really is. You know what I mean? So, and then the second letter is the Aleph. It's an A. So this is La. Okay? That's two letters that you see. In English, it looks like the letter Y, but these are two different letters. Okay? La. Okay? Guess what La means, ladies and gentlemen? Look at the top. La means wireless radio broadcasting, radio message. And then you see it says there is no good in it. I mean, there is no God but Allah. When we go down to related words in the bottom, yes, same root word when we're looking at this, of course. But didn't I say God was a radio? Didn't I say that? I did that and I gave you this in Hebrew. But what's that in green? A-L. Oh, that's just La backwards. So radio in Hebrew is A-L, which on the right-hand side, A-L, which is al or ill, means God. So God is a radio in Hebrew, and God is a radio in Arabic. Are you with me? So now let me show you how to use the radio, i.e. God. I posted this in Patreon on February the 18th. It's back there. And on February the 23rd, we were going to get busy. What do you see? You see the moon in front of the Milky Way galaxy and the Sporoidal galaxy is what you see. On my whiteboard, you saw this on the far right dealing with Sagittarius Capricorn energy. Yes? Well, let's come down to Earth on 223 so you can see it. The moon is here at the bow of the arch. Yes? Yes? Okay. Now, This was just a couple days ago. A couple days ago in the Patreon. We do a radio transmission activation. Yes. On 8/5. Look what hit the very next day. Cloud collision sparks active star formation in the Milky Way. Now, let me come and look at you. Why is that important, Mr. Anpu? Why? Because on February the 23rd, when you saw the moon by the Archer, and we got people here that's inside the Patreon that participated in February, what was the instructions? Was it not that the galaxy is coming and merging, clouds on clouds, coming and merging together? That's there. That's the visualization. That's the signal. Yes? Okay. So now, let me blow it back up. So on 8/6, this hits. But you know why? You know why it hit? Let me blow it up for me. Because when we do the activation, and you can see the time at the bottom on 8/5, where was the moon at? So the very next day, you mean to tell me this come about? Now, mind you, 8/6 from February is what? 6 months. Yes? 6 months. Why is 6 months important? I've showed you before that you can only see 6 zodiac signs at one time that's visible. Even if we dim the light of the sun, you're only going from the east to the west, you're going to see 6. And then that one that's setting in the west is going to set. And then the one that you didn't see in the east is now going to come up and rise. You can only see 6. 6 on, 6 off. But would it also a coincidence that right now, if we are in Leo season, sun in Leo, the earth has to be in Aquarius. So 6 months from now, it's going to be Aquarius season, which means what? The earth is going to move in Leo. And then the sun is going to appear in front of Aquarius. 6 on, 6 off. 6 visible you see, 6 you don't at all times. 6 months for us to get to where the sun appears in front of right now, today. The sun look like it's in front of Leo. 6 months, the earth is going to be in front of Leo. 6 on 6. Hence, I wear a 6-pointed star, because how many colors in the visible spectrum of light anyway? 6. Yes? All right. Now, let's look at something. Hold on, Mr. Anpu. You gotta show him this. Did I not say that the galactic center is in Sagittarius A? Look inside of the green look inside the green rectangle. It's a compact radio source. That's all I want to pay attention to. It's a compact radio source. Hebrew says radio is God. When we get in the infamous saying of Leh Ilaha illallah, that means radio. Yes? So pay attention to this. Leh Ilaha illallah. There is no God. Radio God. Radio God. Talk to God. Listen to God. Radio God is what that, man, that's a secret transmission. Is what that is. But you still got to know how to use it. Right? So anyway, so it's a compact radio source. Yes? So let's zoom in on it. This is the radio source right here. We saw it. Look like it's this Sagittarius constellation. Yes? Okay. Okay. Now watch this. Just a little bit of Islamic history to show you. The most comprehensive and frequently cited hadith about Muhammad's ascension, because Muhammad had an experience. It's found in Sahih Bukhari and Sahih Muslim. It's a lengthy narration, and he summarized the version and captured key elements. Narrated by Anas ibn Malik from Malik ibn Sasa, may Allah be pleased with them both, that the Prophet of Allah, peace be upon him, narrated to them concerning the night of his ascension. While I was laying in the Hatim, or perhaps he said the Hijr, The roof of my house was open, and Gabriel or Jabriel descended. He split my chest from throat to the bottom of my belly. Then he took out my heart and washed it with Zamzam water. Then he brought a golden tray full of wisdom and faith, and having poured its contents into my chest, he closed it. Right? And I got to get myself out the way here. Then I was brought a white beast, smaller than a mule and bigger than a donkey, called Al-Burak. Okay? Now, Islamic art, especially in Persian art, starts to depict this beast, this mule donkey figure with a human head. There are at least there are 10 cultures that I can name that have this same type of, let's just say, theology. We can go with theology. Okay? Zoroaster, all right, on a winged horse named Shabrain. Even Alexander the Great was put on a horse. Arjuna in the Indian, and taking some of Indra's chariots in Hindu philosophy. Mithras, Odin in the Norse mythology, got these horses that's flying in the sky, man. Okay? So they depict them as this. But I just showed you that the radio signal of our parent galaxy, and radio means God, is this constellation, but yet the prophet ascended on Barak. Yes? That later gets depicted with a human head in a horse body. Yes? Okay. Well, let's get into some of the meanings of Barak. You can see at the top, it's the creature which Muhammad made his ascension on into the seven heavens. Shining, lustrous, sparkling, flashing, glittering, twinkling, a glitter flash. With the first rays of the morning sun. Oh, I know who been on the record telling you the sunrise prayer is the first 2 hours from sunrise is the most effective time to do a specific prayer. Alphalic, to be precise. Because if you understand the rotations of the heaven and what house that is, we call that a house. Each sector of space we call a house. What house that is, then you understand why you need to recite alphalic at that time. Okay? So anyway, so this represents flashes of light. Yes? But look at number 2 in the middle. Telegraph, look at the bottom. Telegram wire cable. Ladies and gentlemen, weren't we getting broadcast earlier? Did we not say radio? We saw that. Did we not see power lines and all of that? Now we get telegrams, wires, cables. It's talking about a mode of communication through thought and sound. So, where's it at? Because it says something about a cloud. Look at the top, third from the top rather. To emit bolts of lightning. Then they put a cloud. But this is the real cloud of light right here, which is in the Bible known as the pillar of cloud or the pillar or column of smoke. It is talking about this right here, which is known as the Milky Way Rift. And in the center of the Milky Way Rift is what? The galactic center is what? A black hole. Is where? 26 degrees Sagittarius. Is when? December the 18th precisely. When the sun is there. When is the earth there? Well, if December 18th minus 6 months, put us around June 18th. That's when the earth is there. Do you know all of your nighttime communications? when you're dialing in, if you're going to dial into the cosmos, your nighttime communication is when the earth is within that same region of space. So, for example, let's make it plain. It's Leo season. The sun is in front of Leo. Well, when the sun sets and it's nighttime, can you see Leo? No. So wherever the sun is, you cannot see. You can use light communication at that time, but you can't use, I ain't gonna say can't, you can do what you want to do, but you get my point, what I'm saying. The earth is not in alignment and there's no visualization. There's no connection of where you're at with it per se, because it already came and gone. It's no different than you picking up the phone. Think about this. All this communication been talking about phones, wires, all that kind of stuff. Yes? All this form of communication. So when you call at nighttime to Leo, they ain't pick up the phone. They wasn't home. They was asleep. You do that, sun up to sundown. That's when Leo is at home. Right next to Leo to the left is Virgo. Okay, so when Leo come up in the morning, can you see Virgo? No. 2 hours later, oh, there go Virgo come up on the east. Now Virgo is visible. Virgo is ready. So now throughout the day, we can talk to Virgo. You understand what I'm saying? So now at night, since it's Leo season, that means the earth is in Aquarius. Yes? So particularly at midnight, 1 o'clock, that time, whatever constellation is on the due south point is the constellation that the earth is perfectly in the line with. So now at nighttime, these are the ones that's visible, and these are the ones that you can get a hold to. You understand that? In the heavens and your earth is your provision. How do you get a hold to that? Very important. Very important. Got to know where to dial. Got to know where to dial. All right. In fact, tomorrow night, so last night, tomorrow night, we have a full moon chant at 10 o'clock Eastern. And on the full moon, the full moon is when we will go out loud, right? On a new moon, can you see the moon when it's a new moon? Do you know what a new moon is? A new moon is when the sun and moon are in alignment, but due to the brightness of the sun, you cannot see the moon. There's a period of time where you don't see the moon at all, known as the dark moon, because it's too close to the sun. And so then it lines up with the sun, new moon. An eclipse is when they're on the same level and the moon goes directly in front of it. But it's not an eclipse every month because the moon could technically look like it's under the sun. It's not on the same plane as the, or what we call declination as the sun. So look, it's under it. So due to the brightness of the light, you can't see it. And in about 2 days after that, when the sun sets in the western side, you see a little crescent, known as, they call that the new moon. Oh, there go the crescent moon right there. Let's start our lunar month. Go ahead. Start a lunar month. Just don't call it a year because you're going to be out of pocket. Okay? So anyway, so now you see that. So that's the new moon. So since the new moon, sun and moon together, you can't see the moon, then that's when we go silent. So that's when we do the candle flame. So go silent on a new moon. Silent zikr. Candle flame meditation. I call it messages from the flame. Full moon, moon's visible. Whatever we gonna do. Whatever we gonna do, right? Whatever we gonna do. I'll be doing Alhamdulillah Ali. Alhamdulillah Ali. I'll get in. In fact, salute to my man Antonio, man. Salute to Antonio because he been working with me And I'm gonna see if I can find it real quick. Do we got a little something? We got a little something. Put a little bit of Color Brothers. He put a little something to it. That's all we can give you right now, right? So, listen, man, the constant remembrance of God is of the chief importance. Always looking at God within things, within events. And even when it's like right now, it's calm, it's quiet. I don't have no company, no nothing. So this is just, okay, I'm about to zikr, do my thing. Just being in constant reflection of it. You know what I mean? It's it's just a phenomenal thing to do, man. It's a phenomenal thing to do. You know what I mean? I can't stress it. That the downloads that be coming and stuff be coming, man. All praise is due to the Most High. I'm just trying to be an obedient, better servant. Because I didn't make it. You know what I mean? I don't have a knowledge if I did. So even if I did make it, I don't have a knowledge of it. But I understand that I'm an aspect and we are aspects of the one and all that make up the all. It's a beautiful oxymoron of creation. Creation is a freaking contradiction. That's what we got to understand. The contradiction is what makes friction. Friction is what makes motion. When you look at the cars go forward, if you burn rubber and kick rocks, where do the rocks go? Backwards. But you're going forward. So this friction creates motion, this yin yang aspect of this perceived aspect of duality, which is really one, but the perceived aspect of duality is really a beautiful thing. It really is at the end of the day. You know what I mean? All right. So anyway, I'm gonna wrap up, man. We're in with the prayer of real short abundance since it's Friday. Coffee. Beautiful prayer. Then I'm gonna make my salat and switch gears a little bit, man. But if you're not on the Patreon, get in the Patreon. Full Moon Sufi chant tomorrow at 10 o'clock. And listen, man, listen. When it say like channel, you see us in Arabic, whatever, man. That's just one vehicle. All is divine. All is divine. You know what I'm saying? So if I choose to go Arabic, then I said it before. Arabic is a sound wave instruct. I've been on the record of saying this. Arabic is a sound wave instruction. You can hear it. You can tell it's designed to, for lack of a better word, manipulate the atomic structure of ether or what's in the air. Seriously, right? And again, this is why the first word la means radio and wireless. And I've been on the record saying that this thing is it's a sound frequency. You know what I'm saying? And so yeah, man, I ain't gonna beat y'all head in it, man, because when the fall season kick in, which I can't wait. I love the fall, my favorite season. That's when summer is over now. We get everybody ready to start getting in their bag, back to school type of vibe. I got something geared up for us that from summer to always and every from fall, winter to spring. And when summer come, break out. Y'all out of school. You know what I mean? But I got a banging curriculum. And Saturdays, for me personally, I'm deciding if I want to open it up. But me personally, on Saturday mornings is a very spiritual energy where, for me, I can only speak for me, I've noticed it's easier for me to learn the new language, the alphabet, the words, the meanings, and things of that nature. So Saturdays for those, I may open that up and say, hey, you want to learn these prayers, man. Get prayed up and really understand the power of sound. You know what I mean? And really, for real, when you understand the whole function of the word, when you saying the sound and what that's going to do to your brain wave to help you like magnetize this thing. There's certain names that you can say that go to certain things. You know what I'm saying? Knowing the very essence and structure of that, you know what I'm saying, to help you magnetize the thing is the key. All right. All right. What's up, Dharma's Path? What's up, beautiful lady? All right. All right, man. So again, if you're not in here, get in here, and we're gonna end with the prayer of Qatra real quick, man. I'll see y'all later. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed. Click that like button if you haven't did it yet, and jump on into Patreon. All right.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم إنا أعطيناك الكوثر فصل لربك وانحر إن شانئك هو الأبتر